what has transpired and how was the child being shot and all that. Because as far as the police are saying, it's vital organs that have been shot, and that's why we're having that problem. And then the firearm was also confiscated, and that was done yesterday. It was taken in for ballistic. We're also waiting for the report from the ballistic. So what we're doing is also using our own internal processes, the private labs and also private ballistic labs, just to check what is going on, so that we fast track the process itself. And the other important thing that we have done as a department is that we have engaged the police station, the station commander and the management team in relation to this case as to what is it that they're doing in the meantime whilst we're doing all these processes. There's an internal process that has already commenced about the officers, and I heard that some of them have requested that they be moved away from the police station so that we get a fair, independent and objective statements from all the witnesses, and nobody must be threatened in the process. We've also met with the family, giving them the assurance that we will protect them. If there are other witnesses that they think are critical to this process, they must bring them to our attention. And we're working very closely with the community policing forum in the area to assist us to identify witnesses, but also engage communities about the processes. So my guys will also be engaging communities with the CPF, just to give them information as to what is it that we're doing. So we're going to be as transparent as possible to make sure that communities are informed about what is happening. So basically that's the process that we're in. And yeah, on Sunday the minister will get just a preliminary report to say how far are we with the process of this case. So basically that's what we have done so far.
You're saying that you're going to be transparent in all of this, but have these, you mentioned there are 4 policemen involved in this, have they been arrested? I know you say you've taken 2 statements at this moment from 2 of them, but have they been arrested? Where are they?
Currently, they cannot be arrested up until I complete this process, because the first thing that I need to do, I must be informed by this process as to whether these people must be arrested. I mean, one of the things that we have raised in the police station was the tampering of the crime scene itself, where we realized that the body has been removed from the crime scene. Now, these are the things that we need to take into consideration when we do our own action and submitting the report to the NPA as well as the National Commissioner about what has transpired in the area. So these police officers right now, I don't want to preempt the outcome of all these reports that I've spoken about. Up until that time has happened, we are going to make sure that they are arrested if there is any wrongdoing on their side.
Ma'am Jennifer, you can see that this community is still up in arms, and one in particular person that they've pointed out is a police officer who goes by the name of Scorpion. Can you assure that this particular policeman is one of the people who hasn't been brought in for questioning?
I think it's important to also give a person an opportunity to state his case, to say what has happened and why him of all the people. But what I'm picking up from in my engagement with the community policing forum, Scorpion apparently is a no-nonsense police officer, but that does not make us conclude on that. We are also going to do our own intelligence, do our own profile, engage communities further, and so that we get information as to who is this Scorpion. If Scorpion's picture is about harassing community, let us get that information and get information from people to say, what has he done? So that if we have to convict, let's do that. Let's move ahead and do that. But if Scorpion is one of the hardest working police officers in the police station, we must also be grateful for that. So I'm unable to conclude on that matter up until I get a profile from the community policing forum, because that's exactly what I got. I got just one side of the story. Community members must also come forward, because I'm also waiting for that information to say what makes this person to be popular in this area. What is it that he has done that makes them to say this guy is also part and parcel? And because there's also an allegation that he's the one who has shot the guy. We've got a different report to that effect. But all I want is that let me be informed by the process up until that process is being concluded. Is then that I can say, yes, indeed, this is the situation. And we will be coming back to the media and engaging you on this matter further.
In terms of transparency, just once again, you say you have a different report. Do the statements tell then who then shot Nathaniel Daniels if it's not this Scorpion? And do they admit in those 2 statements that you've received that they interfered, they tried to hide that murder in terms of, as you mentioned, removing his body and trying to cover the blood? Do they confirm those 2 statements that you've received from the 4 police?
The police officers or the witnesses?
The statements that you've received, are they from the police? or are they
from both, from the witnesses as well as the police. Now we need to compare both statements.
From the two statements you've got from the police, do they admit, do they indicate who pulled the trigger?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
In terms of transparency, can you let us know then who they say they pulled the trigger, and do they admit in terms of tampering with evidence, in terms of removing the body and trying to cover up the scene in itself?
After we've interviewed the station commander, I'm the one who has made the station commander aware that by removing the body from the scene, it leaves much to be desired. Why is it that the proper procedures in terms of the crime scene, quarantining of the scene, and making sure that the body is being left there, so that we should not have any issues. Now, these are the statements that we're taking further on the matter. Already, ballistic has just given us a preliminary report that the gun that was used is not the one that was used by the very same Scorpion that they are complaining about. So there are other people that are involved. So right now, I'm unable to say this is the person who has done that. I will give a conclusive information once I've submitted that report to the minister. And I'm envisaging that at least by Sunday we should be having some information that will guide us as to what has happened. And there's also the other thing that we're doing, that we're also reconstructing the crime scene just to check indeed the way it has been done, and indeed the way they have said, the police officers have said what has happened is done the way they are saying it. And if it doesn't, then further actions will also be taken on the matter.